3000.
What is doing? My name is Maloney. This is the 3000 podcast. I'm joined today by a returning guest.
Yes.
And someone who just murdered a classic beat, Strictly D.T. Thanks for coming, man.
What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to see you down the peninsula. We tied this in with some other work for you.
Of course, yeah. Working down here. I've actually do quite a bit of work down here, so yeah. I try to bring a towel. So, because the beaches are amazing here, although it's extra cold today.
It's a bit cold, but it kind of has that feeling in the air now that, you know, like it's not... It's
spring is coming.
It is, yeah. It's in the air. It's a lot easier to bounce out of bed in the mornings. I know that.
That's right. Yeah, when it's warm, it's like good. It's a good start.
For sure, man.
It's a good start.
All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on since you were last here. It has been not that long, but it's been over a year.
I mean, when you look at how many episodes you've done between now and then, it feels like a lifetime almost.
It's been a few, yeah.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's been a year, and nowadays I haven't been doing as much music, but I've been working on this workshop that I really want to get into. But as I'm gonna let you drive, and we're gonna work it out as we go.
For sure, man. All right, good stuff. So since you were last here, you've been working. You're doing a lot of family stuff on Instagram. You're always doing family stuff. You're always on the dad duties, man.
Yeah, man.
And you love it though.
It is. It's like I love that. I think I'm recognizing how much I loved it due to how I used to do it with my brothers. Like I used to, cater to them and raise them up, and my sisters. And then now that I have my own son, like I'm repeating the same things I was doing as a kid. And yeah, like my son Zev, he is a ball of light, and I can't get over like how much he's growing, how quickly he's growing, and he's only 7. So yeah, it's a good time.
Man, my son's 6.
Oh, word.
So they're pretty close. So he's in prep. So I think your son's probably in year 1.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But they grow quickly.
Yeah, and it's actually quite amazing, like how fast in such a short amount of time they grow. I mean, like we've been adults for 10, 20, 30 years now.
Yeah.
And the growth you don't really see. You start growing this way.
Yeah.
But like watching him like spike up, and him being able to, like he did a front flip on a trampoline the other day, and I don't know how to do a front flip. And my wife definitely doesn't know how to do a front flip.
Yeah.
And it's just like how much he's growing and how much he's like soaking in, and like, he'll try something, and then he's just constantly, evolving within 6 months, 3 months, and I don't want to miss it.
No, man. And this year's getting close to an end. It's going to be the end of the year soon before you know it.
That's it. Straight. What are we? September? Yeah, yep. September. We only got 3 months
left. Yeah.
That's wild.
Q4.
Yeah.
So you've got your event coming up this Saturday.
Yes.
So it is Saturday the 27th.
Correct.
In St Kilda. 3182, my old stomping ground.
Yeah, you were telling me the spot that it's at now. It's like been super gentrified since.
It has. Look, it's still kind of grimy around there, but St Kilda will never be totally polished.
Of course,
but it has changed a bit, man. But tell us a little bit about the event, dude.
Yeah, so Moment of Truth workshop, and again, I appreciate you giving me the space to speak on this because I think it's a huge gap we're having with our teenagers. I've created a workshop for our teenagers to come here and kind of self-reflect, get into some creative writing, also into some boxing if that's what you're into, some health, like some fitness, where we're going to exercise the mind and the body and the spirit. I've got Mickey on MD duty, so he's going to bring a band for the kids to come in, and we're going to play. They're going to play to all the exercises we're doing, including the physical exercises. We're going to have a lunch together, sit down, and just kind of connect with them in a way where they're free to do so. And explore, their emotions, where they're at developmentally, where they're at in different avenues of like whether they're finding a purpose, and even maybe help them towards their purpose or their blueprint.
Whether it's musical or not.
Yes, that's correct. So we have a few exercises. Mickey and I was just talking about it yesterday, where we try and do a few exercises to kind of get them out of their shells. And we know that school and, sometimes family and outside, they have a lot of, there's a lot of bullying and all that to kind of put them in this box, in the shell, where they can't actually express themselves freely, which then, kills all types of creativity.
And that's true, man. Like, we all draw at school, we all sing, and we all dance and do stuff. But then when you get to high school, that tends to dry up for most people.
And I'm seeing it even with my son. My son doesn't want to admit that he watches ABC Kids because the kids at school are like, they're for babies. And like, he's trying to like, and I have to like break it down to him. Like, it says ABC Kids. You guys are kids. And I get it. There's some that are babyish, but it's not appropriate for you, which is why we'll work our way around it. But you can see it's already starting to seep in. And by the time they're teenagers, we expect them to go out and figure it out themselves when there isn't really any sort of rite of passage or even like a moment for them to kind of explore. Maybe, art is something they want to get into, graffiti or, rapping, there's all these things. But because of the internet and the access to the whole entire world, they'll see someone their age doing something and it just completely kills their momentum or creativity.
It is sad, man. Like, sometimes I'll pick up my son from school and I'll be like, do you want to play basketball when he gets home? He's like, no, I want to play my games. I'm like, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And they get caught in that. Like, we need to be, and it's hard because sometimes you've got other stuff to do. You're like, cool.
Of course.
If they do that, I can do my editing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We've got to sort of, I've got to push past that, which I'm guilty of.
See, we all are. And as like parents, as I've become a parent and I've started really looking within and trying to not pass on the stuff that was like passed to me that I didn't like, it really became like a huge mission for me to not only interfere with Zev's development, but like also allow him to explore freely what it is he wants to do. Like, he likes breakdancing. He was breakdancing for a little bit, but now he's like, oh, I'm not really into it. So now we have to try something else. And similar to what you're saying about the game or the screens or whatnot, I know that it's great. We can utilize it for our own benefit, but there has to be a limit to it as well. Which is like, he asks if he can play like Minecraft or Roblox or whatnot. And I'm like, hey, I haven't taken you to the city in a while. Do you want to go catch like a train and we go check out like someplace? And it distracts him from wanting to do that. And of course that takes me away from what I need to do. But I see it more important now than ever, because nowadays, if we follow all of the trends that everyone's doing, we are just the same. We're just the sheep that goes through.
For sure. And I do that same sort of distraction thing. I don't know how many more years it's going to work for before they catch on. And they're like, hang on, I actually really wanted to do that thing,
Well, my wife was saying, like, what's going to happen, like, when he gets to an age where he wants, like, he really wants, maybe a Nintendo Switch or something. And then I made the joke of saying, like, I'm going to be like, who wants to go to Paris? And like, it's like one of those things where, of course, we don't want to, deprive him of those kind of things. Of course, I brought him a Game Boy, actually. So when he was asking about Nintendo Switches, I bought him the old school Game Boys that you can play, and I bought him a few games, and he was playing that. But the beautiful thing I love about those old school games is that there's like a limit to it. These guys have got unlimited, like, the game isn't just the game anymore. It's like add-ons and all these clothes that you have to buy now. And it's just like continuously getting you hooked on
in-app purchases.
Of course. It's like, it's way too much for the developing mind to be able to have that type of freedom, At least now with the Game Boy, he plays for like half an hour and then he actually puts it down and goes off. Same with watching, we monitor what he watches because, certain songs and certain shows are quite like hypnotizing, and it's not about the show anymore. They're like, have psychologists who give these movies and TV shows.
Cocomelon, man.
Word.
That's like...
And you look at it like, what the hell? Like, how are they so hooked? And you watch them, and they're fully hypnotized by whatever it is, the bright lights, the repetitive songs, and all that. I was actually just talking to Motley, and I was like, bro, let's just like make like a cool children's songs. Like, instead of us watching Blippi, like, why the hell are we watching this guy? Let's just like make some. He's down. He wants to do something like that. But we always joke about it, but we don't really put anything to it. I hope we do one day.
Man, but it's all like, you watch that sort of, not that my son's watching Cocomelon now, but a few years ago, I think about it now, that was probably pretty AI generated. You know what I mean? Like, they would have said, this is a nursery rhyme, do this, bright colors, bang.
Yeah, I mean, Baby Shark, all of those things, like, it's something that's hooking on. And now, even today, I am seeing, certain songs. I have a couple of students that I teach, and he came to me and he was like, we need to listen to this song, it's aura farming. And I was like, I've heard that a couple of times now. It's like, what is aura farming? He goes, when you listen to the song, it gives you aura and it makes you cool.
What?
And I said, that's what's being told to these kids and these teenagers.
Aura farming.
Aura farming is a real thing.
How old are these kids?
He's 10.
Right.
And then I've heard it from older kids as well. And even when I was doing workshops in like Shepparton, one kid was like, he used to be an artist. He's like, I used to draw and I used to color and all that. And I said, oh, there's a workshop over there that does it. And he's like, nah, I don't want to do it anymore. I was like, oh, why? And he's like, I'm not good anymore. I'm not good. And I said, okay. I said, what do you do instead? He's like, oh, I play Roblox. I said, okay. So that's what you've replaced it with. He goes, yeah, because I could build and this. And I'm like, all right. But to me, it seems like we're missing that real connection to, our minds and our thoughts and putting it down on paper. And that's what Moment of Truth is, to be able to sit down, reconnect with ourselves, allow them to say whatever that is that they feel. The things that I was writing when I started writing rhymes is nothing like who I am. But because I needed an outlet, I used to swear and I used to just like say the craziest thing. Brother Lynch Hung was like my favorite rapper at the age of 12 or 13, and I had no business listening to that. And that's what got me, that's what I've realized was like helping me. I was releasing in other ways. My anger was going through that.
So where did the idea for this come from? Obviously, it's spawned from getting back to where you were when you're a teenager, but you just thought, I need to create something. There's a bit of a gap here. There's something missing for teenagers.
Yeah. Well, yes, that's kind of where it brewed up. But actually, the idea came from my friend out in Queensland, James, my best friend. We were talking about, what we were going to do with our lives and what we want to do. It was my first solo trip out there by myself with no family. My wife pushed me out to say, go travel and just go out for yourself, miss us a little bit and come back.
How long did you go for?
6 days.
Yep.
It was really nice. And like, I'm so used to being like the person everyone needs from a child. Like I said, I was raising my brothers and, help my sisters when I was down there. I just was always at someone's need. So I never got to experience, going out by myself and exploring the world. So when I did that, he goes, you should just do a workshop for kids. And at the moment, I couldn't see it. I'm like, I wouldn't know what to do anyway. Then I came home and I did a 3-day water only fast. And he also encouraged me to do. And
no juice, just water.
Just water, a little bit of salt in the water, 3 days straight. We started it last night. Shout out to my wife. She's doing her first 3 days.
But you've done this before.
This is my third time doing it.
Okay. Yeah. We'll get back to the thing, but I'm interested in this as well because fasting fascinates me.
Of course.
So you started at when you go to bed the first night. So does the 24 hours start at say 10 p.m. or whatever?
Last meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then you're just drinking water for 3 days straight. Bit of salt.
A little bit of salt. So
is it a mind game more than anything?
It is very much so a mind game. I've been doing since January. I just did it, raw dogged it. I said, I really need to shift my mindset. I really need to clear out my head and figure out what I'm doing. And when I did this, like everything from the first 2 days are hell. The third day is like amazing. You actually feel way more energized. You feel, I almost felt like complete in a way. I had like this euphoric feeling where I felt like I could take on a gorilla. Like the 100 man versus a gorilla, I was like, I can take him on by myself on that third day.
Right.
I felt amazing. I felt incredible. And then as I was doing more studying, it was like the cells, after a certain amount of time, start attacking the sick cells in your body. And then it resets everything, but it can't do that if it's digesting your food. And it takes 12 to 14 hours to digest your food completely. So the 12, 14 hours starts, and then after that, it goes, all right, what are we going to do now? And then it says, oh, well, I've been meaning to go after your foot for a while. So I go down there and it has all these fancy words like autophagy and all that. But realistically, it's just the cells attacking all the sick cells in your body. And then the 3 days is generally the reset, the full reset. People go further. I did 5 days in June. And to me, it
did you plan to go 5 or you got to 3 and thought maybe I could keep going?
I was planning to do 100.
I've heard
100
about
hours.
This. Yeah.
So 100 hours. But by the time I got to 100 hours, it was 10 p.m. And I was like, man, I'm not going to eat at 10 p.m., like break my fast and then go to sleep. It's not it's not good for you. So then I woke up the next day and I was like, we're going for 4 days. We're going for 5 days. And so I managed to pull that off, but I just didn't, I don't think it's much of a difference in the 3 days compared to the 5 days. Now, my wife, she recently started working she's working as a psychologist at a wellness center. And these guys have a place where you go for 20 to 30 day fasts, water only.
Wow.
And these guys are healing chronic illnesses. I don't want to say, I don't want to mess up the name, but I think it's like Tom Wellness Center. But they have been doing this for ages. And just recently, my wife said there was a patient who was there for 30 something days, stage 4 cancer. She finished it off, water only, went back, and apparently had no cancer. Wow. And the doctor's like, I don't know what you're doing, but do it.
Because I think doctors wouldn't like suggest this sort of stuff. They think it's unhealthy.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the idea that it really takes nothing. Like, you just don't put stuff inside you. And then there's also, obviously, I should mention that everyone is different. Your fasting can be different dependent on what it is your body needs. And some people, these guys would be someone to talk to in terms of how to do it when you're on medication, or if you're a diabetic, or if you have all of these like preemptive things. They go deeper into trying to figure out who you are specifically and then cater the fast to you. Because you may need certain things, but generally these guys go water only straight up for, 3 weeks. And people fly over the world to come there. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's actually parents from a school. My son's friends with the kid whose parents are running it.
Cool, right.
Yeah.
Without getting too graphic, for 5 days, are you still going to the bathroom though?
Actually, you're
like, obviously you urinate a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm pissing a lot, but I actually stopped. I stopped number 2s. I stopped shitting probably after 2 or 3 days. But what's crazy, right? And it's funny because this is inappropriate to say online, but my shits have never been so clean. Like, you know how you wipe and sometimes, you wipe and you have to wipe maybe 3, 4, or 5 times. Bro, one time and I'm like, what? Nothing? What? It's like, am I better than everyone? Yeah. Like, it's
I think that's just your body clearing out all that gunk, and then it can just start again.
And that's where, like, my whole life I've had to wipe 7 times. Like, I'm like, it's not stopping. Yeah. But now it's like, it's just solid. It's easy. I can't believe we're actually talking about shit, but it's like, it's the truth.
But it's all part of it, man.
Yeah.
And because I'm super curious about that, because I've spoken to people that have done juice only fast for like 90 days and stuff, like a long time. But the juice has got a lot of, vitamins in it and whatever.
Of course.
But a lot of those people said that they just keep shitting as well because your body is like,
But that would be because of the actual juice.
Juice as well.
So the juice would make that, because they still got some sort of like, materials in there. This is literally just water. So after 2 days, you probably won't go number 2 for ages. Until you start eating again. But like, I felt even my head clarity, like my brain cognition was like next level. I felt so calm. I could sit down, usually, how we have like those busy minds where we have to sit, and if we sit, we're like, fuck, I got to do X, Y, Z. Like, I felt so at peace.
Right.
And that's what made me say, all right, 24 hours once a week. And then every 3 months, I'll do 3 days.
Right.
So we're at this part now, and like, my wife has gotten so inspired by these guys doing 20, 30. Now they have to stay there.
Yeah.
Like,
because they got to be monitored, because it could be unhealthy.
Exactly. It can definitely fall short if you're doing 10, 20, 30 days.
Especially if you've got an illness on top of it.
That's right. So they're constantly there, and they stay there, and they can go for walks and all that. But like, for me, I'm working still. I last one I was training still, but you could definitely feel you burn out a lot faster, which is why I was being kind to myself. Like, I'll train for a little bit and then I'll chill.
Yeah, because you work a reasonably physical job. So then if the first day, I'm guessing you're going to be weaker than you were when you're eating. But then by the third day, you feel revitalized.
Well, the third day, that's why I felt so, I didn't try and train on the third day, but I just felt energized. I didn't even feel hungry. I felt fully like together. And I've never felt like that before. So since then, that's where the moment to everything just came clear. I was like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. I was like, and it really formed out. You know, like I don't know if you ever got into meditating.
I struggle, but I haven't tried enough.
And that's the thing. It's like our brains are so active that we don't allow it to sit for a second. And that's similar to even with eating, you know, we get super jittery, or like sometimes we'll walk past something and say, your brain tells you to buy this right now. And you don't have a say in it. You just do it. And it becomes like automatic that way. Whereas like after your 3 days, you could eat and then you'll go somewhere and you'll be like, I'm a little bit hungry. And then you'll see something unhealthy and be like, oh, I probably shouldn't. And you actually are like kind of aligned with your intuition a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah, for sure, man. Yeah, that's super interesting. And I'm keen to, so what about coffee? Like, do you drink coffee?
There are people who say, you know, black coffee is when you start adding the extra stuff. You can stay in the fasting state by drinking black coffee.
That's what I do now. So I intermittent fast from like 8 o'clock at night until like 12 or 1 the next day, just black coffee.
Oh yeah, that's good too. Yeah, and there's a whole bunch, and like in saying this, like everyone has their own way of doing things, and that's like intermittent fasting is really good too. And my wife is drinking coffee. I've never got into coffee, so I'm.
You didn't grow up in Melbourne, man.
Yeah, we'll see that. We'll see. What's crazy is that Seattle is the owner of Starbucks, but no, I never got into it.
People say Seattle's a lot like Melbourne, though, man.
That's, you know, everyone says Melbourne is like New York. I'm like, I couldn't agree more. Yeah. I couldn't disagree more. Sorry. I think it's more like Seattle. Like I feel it. And that's why I think I kind of love it and like connect with it a lot more than a lot of other places here. Yeah. Because it doesn't seem the same. Except for we get a lot more sun here, so I really like it.
It's colder.
Yeah, it's like snowy. It rains like 80% of the time. That's why grunge is a thing there, because it's like depressed. Like everyone's just so sad. My mom was even saying, you know, she goes, it's been raining for a while, and I've just been so sad lately. And I was like, I know, it's because you ain't got no sun.
But it is so true. Like it's spring now. It's easy to get out of bed. It's like you get home from work or whatever. The sun's still up. It changes your psyche. Like it makes you feel better.
Yeah, like the sun is like, that's why I really do love Australia itself. Is like you wake up and that sun hits. It's like you really feel charged and ready to go. When it's cold, you just want to. You could stay in bed for an extra 40 minutes and not bat an eye. Yeah, you know, I love. Yeah,
but the seasons are kind of cool here though, because if it was warm all year round, I feel like you'd get tired. Like you kind of need, when it comes cooler again, you kind of like, oh, it's time to hibernate for a little bit.
That's Perth, man. Perth is hot like all the time, and I couldn't wear this. Yeah, I need to be in a tank top most of the time because I just sweat like crazy. Whereas like Melbourne, it's got the cold. I can wear a jacket, you know, a nice cool bomber jacket to just flex every now and then, and not sweat your balls off, you know.
Melbourne's good for the fashion aspects, if nothing else.
Yeah, for sure.
So man, so you think 24 hours once a week is a good way to do it without overdoing it?
Well, yeah. I think I spoke to the wellness center, and because they were commenting when I did my first, and I messaged them and asked them just like, what do you recommend? How often could I do this safely? And they say, this is a very blanket statement we say, but they say 24 hours once a week, 3 days once a quarter, 10 days once a year. And it's like, but again, it really is a matter of what you're on.
For you.
Yeah, what works for you.
So what day do you pick every week? Or
I'm trying to keep it spontaneous, because if your body gets used to it, then it might know, okay, this is the time.
Store the fat now because it's not coming on Sunday or whatever.
And it will do that, right? So even now, like I'm trying to control my alcohol intake on the weekends. But because I've programmed myself to do that for the last 15 years, it really has become a struggle. So then I had to try and replace it with other things. Like I started going to the sauna and steam rooms and doing cold plunges. I literally just jumped in the ocean now because I was hungry. Yeah. My boss was saying it shouldn't say get into a cold plunge. It should just say do something stupid, because it's just like it really gets your mind out of like thinking about food or any of that.
It's like with your son, it's distraction.
Yeah.
Your body says, I want to eat something. You're like, why don't we get in the water?
Yeah, exactly. So like weekends, whenever weekends come, I try. It hasn't been helping this lately, because I've been focusing on trying to get this going, and, you know, spending time with family, and then trying to get a workshop going is, I mean, you do it with your podcast all the time. You got to be dad mode. You got to be podcast mode. You got to be go into an events mode. Like I haven't been going to events because it's just too daunting on my body now. It's so hard. I want to go out and support these guys, but man, late nights means hard mornings. And then with kids, you got to get up.
Yep.
And then you got to go and do the day. Then you got to do the things that you set out to do.
Yeah.
And we're only 3 months to the end of the year. And what are we doing? So
no, man. Yeah.
That's right.
It's daunting. It's daunting.
Yeah.
So Moment of Truth is happening on Saturday. But by the time this gets to air, will there be tickets left? I don't even know.
I would hope that it's going to be sold out by then, but there's 2 tickets left. We have 8 people. We have 8 kids coming at the moment. I'm doing that to keep it small so that I can really, connect with them one-on-one even. I've sent out questionnaires to the parents and the child to get a better perspective on where they're at and where their parents' perspectives are at. And then I break it down and kind of make the workshop work with whatever it is that they're going through. We talk about certain things like we'll do games like Rhyme on Time, which is the game I created where I give them a word and then I get them to think of all the rhymes they could think of. Then I give them a sentence. And for example, leaves is one of the rhymes, right? And I was like, all right, now if I said guac and beans with my nachos, don't forget about and then they'll try and think of a word. They're like, oh, beans, leaves, cheese. Yep, works. We out here at the picnic sitting underneath and then they'll say, oh, trees, right? So I was like, great. Maybe they write it down. Maybe they can remember it. Then I put a beat on. I'm like, all right, we're going to go for it. Now I'm going to rap this part. You guys get the rhymes. And then I'll be like, guac and beans with my nachos. Don't forget about and they'll yell out, cheese. And then and then by the end of that, they're like all hyped up. When I did it out in Shepparton, they were jumping on tables like, greens. It's like yelling out and rapping. And like, they just didn't think they could do that. And I said, this is you guys. It's like, this is what it feels like to accomplish something that you've written. And then we go into our own writing stuff.
Yeah.
And then Mickey had an idea where we create a vibe. Like he'll create something and he'll just say, what is this? And then we start talking about, what does this make you feel? Does this feel like a memory can you think of a memory that comes up when you think of this or hear this? And those are the kind of ways we're going to start tapping them into their creativity.
Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've obviously put a lot of planning and effort into it, not just the actual event and getting that off the ground, but it's like in all the programs and everything that's going to happen, man. There's a lot of work.
A lot of work. And I think it's quite easy for us because we naturally, I could rap whenever I want to rap. They don't even realize that they can too. And what I'm seeing is that the kids don't want to find the hard way now, especially with AI. Like anyone can just go to AI and type, make me a cool rap. Actually, one of the kids at the workshop tried to do it.
Really?
She tried to use it. This was like early too. So I got them all in a writing session. They're all writing down, and then the girl goes, "Oh, I'm finished." I was like, "All right, cool. I'll have a read?" And I'm reading it, and I'm like, "Can I? Like, this sounds really good. Can I ask you a question?" And she goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Did you use ChatGPT with this?" And she like fully like ran away, and I was like, "You can't fool me, guys." I was like, "You guys." It's like the thing is like the hard part about this is that there's no soul. Like you could prompt it in, who knows, maybe a time there might be a way where it does do that. But ideally, it's not about the end result. Like it's all about the process. Like you thought of this rhyme purely off of your own brain, like in your own heart. And that's what we're trying to get to. We're not trying to get to the end result. They may not even perform. We want them, the goal is to get them to perform at the end of it with the band. But they don't have to. Maybe they write something that they just want to get out, and they can just recite it without it being rap. It doesn't need to be about rap. But because hip hop helped me so much, and boxing has helped me so much, I use that as the anchor to keep us all in the same, the same path.
Yeah, man, it is sort of depressing, the whole AI thing, and like we can pretend it's not there as much as we want, and we can be let's not.
Yeah.
But I guess for younger people, it's just going to become more and more normal for them.
Of course, we forget that. Well, we don't really forget. We we know there's a huge gaps in our generations. Like, and as we get older, we're seeing the gap get bigger. You know, I was just saying yesterday at a post, I said, my son's never going to understand what it's like to have to be at home at a specific time because your favorite TV show's on. You know, it used to, like Dragon Ball Z, 3:30 p.m. Like, we were outside and we're looking at the time like, oh shit, we got to go.
But this is what live sport's good for.
Yeah.
That's the only thing really now that gets people going for that period of time.
Yeah, true. And see, and then now he's got the whole series at the palm of his hands. He can watch the whole thing at the blink of an eye.
Yep.
So for them to find a passion or something to do, we need to consistently try and get them to try something new without shaming them, without, you know, breaking their balls every time they fail at something.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's what it's about. It's about failing, and that's how you learn, man.
But we shame it. We say failure is not good. The society says, like, taking an L, oh, never take an L. I don't want to take an L. So then we don't even try. And now we're stuck being, you know, mediocre when all of us have something to give to this world.
Yeah. And failure is important.
Yes. Now, very much so.
Yesterday I had a young guy sitting right there, and he's a skateboarder, and I said, man, you learn so much resilience from skating because no one's instantly good at it, and people fall over so much to just land one trick. And that's really a great metaphor for life. So people that are good at skateboarding can handle a lot of stuff.
Hard.
Like, you take L's a lot.
Yeah. I had to show my son was like, he hates losing. He hates losing. And I remember he picked up the skateboard, and because he wasn't good at it, he was like fed up to the brim. I was like, bro, sit here, watch this. And I gave him like this one kid who was like trying this one trick. He fell like 50 times. And I was like, do you think he's whining and crying about it? Maybe, but you could see he gets back up and keeps going. And then he lands it. Then you see how accomplished he feels. Not many people will get to feel that feeling, but because he stuck with it, he got rewarded for his efforts. And that's why I was like, if you don't like skateboarding, don't skateboard. That's fine. But if you're going to quit skateboarding because it's hard, that's not an appropriate thing thing to do.
But no one, or look, sure, there's people that are just naturally gifted at music or naturally gifted at certain abilities. It does happen. Some people could pick up a piano. Well, you don't pick up a piano. Some people can jump on the piano and they can instantly be good at it. But that doesn't happen with most things. And most people that are successful have to work really hard for their success.
100%.
There's no cheat codes for most things.
No. And that's where now we're seeing cheat codes that it seemed like cheat codes, but it's not. Like we know that I can get someone to write me a 16 bars, but that's not the fun part. The fun part is literally sitting there and just listening to it and diving deep into your emotions and then writing a bar that you're like, ooh. I was like, wow. Like, I've been so ashamed of my role in hip hop because I just never got into graffiti. I always respected it, like breaking and all that. And like, even in the rap aspect, I'm not a strong freestyler, like as in off the dome. Like, I know that I could put more effort into that, but that's just not where I am or where I want to do. I love writing so much, and it comes out in rap form, and like that's where. And then then I used to get insecure about maybe I'm not in hip hop like I want to be, or maybe I'm not part of the culture, and you get these self-doubts that that stop people from trying or becoming. And that's where I started sitting in with my own identity. Like, it doesn't matter whether I do this or this. If I'm part of this culture and I'm supporting others in it, I am the culture. I am part of this culture as well.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
Don't sell yourself short. There's lots of DJs that don't rap. There's lots of breakers that don't graph. You don't have to do all four elements.
Of course, but see, the problem I had when I was younger was I'm growing up and I'm like, okay, I want to do it all. Then you move to another country and it's all kind of backwards. Like, I didn't realize that most kids got into hip hop from the graph scene. I'm learning that a lot from your podcast, like listening to everyone. I'm like, wow, everyone really started graphing first. And then I was like, damn, and I never actually got into it from there. And then like, I just didn't feel like I fit into the thing that I thought I fit in the most.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, it took a long time for me to really accept who I am, like, and be confident in that. And once you know who you are, you can walk into any room and and vibe with anyone.
Yeah.
You know?
It is really interesting, I think, because in the US, obviously the birthplace of hip hop, it was so commercial for quite a while that you could be interested in just the rap music without being into the hip hop culture.
That's right.
But then somewhere like here or parts of Europe coming up in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't mainstream. So if you were into the hip hop music, you were probably more into the whole culture.
Yeah.
And that's kind of probably more where that sort of divide comes from, I guess.
Yeah, and I love it. I love seeing how it grew, because that means that anything we do can grow like this and become its own identity.
Yep.
And Japan's hip hop is not going to be our hip hop.
No.
You know, America, UK, all of them. We have our own, and it branches out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, you look at UK, like where they've taken their, and it's not strictly hip hop music, but now with the offshoots, with the, with the grime and all that sort of stuff, it's really, that's going bigger than anyone would have ever anticipated, man.
Yeah.
Like taking over all sorts of places.
Yeah, right. You're right.
Yeah.
I really, I love your podcast for the idea that I can actually go back in time, because I was so fixated on American hip hop because that's where I came from and I wanted to keep up with it. And we all know there's just an overload of information. I was literally listening to Dame Dash just before, because he's gone viral for saying he's now the owner of Revolt now. And I'm like, what the hell? What's going on here? And everyone's calling him Cap. And, there's a lot going on in American hip hop that, there's still something bubbling here. And listening to all of the stories from your guests have really got me. It's kind of catching me up, really, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, there's a few people that have said that, man. People that are like, oh, I'm just starting to learn this. And then one episode then opens up a door to another episode. And people just like learn. I've had people message me, man, from the other side of the world. Like, I visited Melbourne a few times, and then I moved back to here. But I love just, it kind of takes me back when I get to watch some episodes. It's been fucking cool.
Nostalgic.
Yeah.
And you're like drink champs for like Melbourne. It was like them just breaking it down from the past. You're just not getting them written off.
But that's it, man. Well, I'm sure there's been a few episodes where we've had too many beers, but I try not to do that now.
I'll join you on one of them one day.
Yeah, one day, man, one day. But I don't even have any water here today. That's how bad I'm going, trying to get the fucking sets sort of sorted out. But I don't even have water to offer you, dude.
Yeah, no, it's all good, man. Luckily I'm fasting today, so
there you go. That's it.
I've got the water I need.
So before we start to talk about some sort of other stuff that's going on, anything else we haven't talked about with Moment of Truth? It's this Saturday, but it's probably booked out. But check if you do want to get involved, and I'm sure there'll be more coming up.
Yeah, I really do want to do more. I'm hoping this is independently funded. So I tried applying for grants, and they couldn't see the vision. So I'm funding it myself. Everyone's getting paid that's helping out. There are some that are exchanging services for a ticket, which again is great. And then if there are kids who want to, the price is pretty steep, but mainly because we're trying to keep everyone out and do them in small increments. We want 10, maybe 12, but I'm happy with 8 at the moment. And then hopefully, if this goes well, I can apply for some more grants, make it more cheaper for people to jump in. But all in all, I do see that this is like my albums. Like, I feel like this is going to be like how much time I put into albums. I've been doing it to that. And I've got songs in the bank that I can release, but at the moment I feel the teenagers need me. Parents are asking me to do kids ones, which I could do, but at the moment I could just see the way our media is slamming our teenagers today. I'm trying to do something for them that has nothing to do with whatever they're trying to box them into. And I get it. We've got a lot of crime from teenagers, but when I speak to a lot of these kids, it is heartbreaking. I'll tell a quick story that I was teaching boxing at a gym, and one of the facilitators came to me and said, it was for kids like age, 12 to 18. And they said, oh, look, can you just give this kid, he's been coming to your classes, he's been really liking it, if you don't mind giving him a little bit of extra attention. And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to like go out of my way. I'm like, I want to keep it a vibe, or, the vibe that I've got going. If he's liking it, I don't want to change it to then keep it, like it might shake him. But then she broke down and said, what's happening is he has recently moved to his mom's. And he's not going to school. He's not answering his phone. He's not showing up, but he's showing up to the boxing classes. And I said, okay, cool. And when we started doing the thing, I thought it was one kid, and it wasn't. It was like someone else. It was another kid. So I didn't even know who the kid was. So I just did what I was doing. Anyway, it turns out he was living with his dad before, and this was during COVID time, like right before COVID times and the lockdowns. The dad murdered his roommate while his son was there.
Jesus.
And now this dad had gotten sent to jail, and he's now forced to live with his mom, who he's never lived with.
Wow.
And so...
And he's just a kid.
And so now you got these crazy situations, and that reflects back onto being a parent. Like, what demons have I not fighting or have I not seen within myself that is passing down to my son? When you've got a kid who has been shopped from wherever he is, now he's here in St. Kilda, and he is at a new school, and now he's fighting, and there's this, and the only thing he's coming to is boxing. It's because we need an outlet, and we need a safe space for people. So when you don't create that, and when you've got a lot of people who aren't even aware that that's what's happening to these kids, you got politicians that have no idea. Parents and kids and families who have mom and dads, and they've generational wealth. Like, there's no idea. They have no idea.
No. And that's the thing. Like, people say, oh, well, you can't just put these kids out on bail and they're going to reoffend, blah, blah, blah. But the problem starts way before that. Yeah. Right? And a lot of it would be to do with kids not having good role models to look up to.
Exactly.
And then the cycle continues.
Yeah. And we've said it. I've been posting a lot of Charlemagne's rants about not having enough mentorship or funding for people who are trying to, help our community and help our youth. Just because I didn't get the grant doesn't mean, like, to me, I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, we'll do it and we'll make it work. Even Artful Yoga Gallery, the venue we're doing it at, is at an art studio. It's not even at a gym. We're going to hang up some bags and all that. We're making it work because we all know how important it is to look after our kids and look after our teens.
Yeah, man. It's a tough time to be a kid, I think. Like, I know that sounds silly, but it's like, it is. It's a tough time to grow up and be a kid. Like, there's so many different outside influences. There's so much media. There's so, like, it's hard, man. It
is. I don't know if we have this debate all the time. Like, was it harder to grow up now, or is it harder to grow up then? But when I see how parents are with their kids, even at a young age, the pressures they put on them, even when it comes to just like, sometimes walking, they're like, he's this much old, he should be walking now. And like, we all learn at different speeds.
Yeah.
And it's sad that kind of pressure in itself is already starting. It starts way, way before. And because my wife's a child psychologist, she's kind of got me in the door, just like watching how, parents speak or how they react and what it means. And, we chat about it all the time and try and make sure that we ourselves are doing the same thing. Like Zev, I'm sure he's going to grow up and be like, you did this to me and X, Y, Z. And I have to be prepared to be like, yeah, I did. But one thing he can't do is say he's struggled in the with a one parent household,
Yeah.
You see that trend? There's a trend where it's like filming like the kid, he's like living his best life, eating like lobster and stuff. He's like, I'm filming this in case my son becomes a rapper and says he had a hard life. That's the one thing my son is not going to have a hard life, and although he'll have his own struggles and internal conflicts, that's the one thing.
And that's all normal and it's all natural, man. But you know what? Look, I know people that grew up with parents that had plenty of money, and it doesn't guarantee anything because there may not be as much love, or a lot of those parents,
that's right,
they're doing their own thing. They're busy. They leave their kids to their own devices, and those kids, a lot of those private school kids, they know how to fucking...
They will party their asses off. I've met so many kids in private schools and all that, and that's the thing is that it takes more than just, education and money. I've seen so many kids who are broke that are way happier than these billionaires and millionaires. I work in a lot of houses that I just didn't realize there was this kind of money in Melbourne. Like the houses I've been in have been so wild. Like one house was like, you walk into the front door, it's a dance studio.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that's weird. It's like, okay, walk through there. There's the area we're working on. You walk to the left, there's a sauna and a toilet that talks to you in Japanese. Then you go to this side and it's the kitchen, and then there's a mini putt-putt golf section. I'm like, where are the bedrooms?
Wow.
And then I go past that and it's a golf simulator, and I'm like, all right, what is happening? I spoke to the cleaner, and she goes, oh, this is the fun house. They've bought all 3 houses and they've connected the backyard. So the middle house is where they sleep. The far house is where the grandparents sleep. And this is where people have fun.
Wow. And I'm guessing that's in a pretty affluent area as well.
Richmond.
Yeah. There you go.
I was like, so that's how you have room here. I was like, there's no room to drive. You can't go anywhere in Richmond. Yeah. So you buy 3 lots of land. 3 houses, man. And connect the back.
No, and this is the thing that's also happening, the divide from the people that are sort of just getting by, doing their part, to the people with 3 houses connected together. That's an extreme example, but it is, the divide's getting wider and wider. Yeah.
And I'm not a politician. I don't know jack squat about these things and what they have to deal with. But when I do see is there are people sneaking into abandoned buildings all the time in Melbourne, and there are hospitals, colleges, massive homes, mansions, all vacant, empty, and have nothing to offer the world besides taking up space. And then we have a housing crisis.
Yeah, I know.
That's what's
but that issue is greater than just Australia, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's a global thing.
Of course. Yeah. But when you have these, like, when you think about these people going out and, like, blaming immigrants for, taking the housing and all this, it's like you really don't see it in the full picture.
No. And look, Australia is a very, very vast land. There's lots of space here. Mm-hmm. We need to figure out how to utilize more of it and build more houses.
Of course, even in the areas that are like a little bit uncomfortable, let's figure out how we make it. I mean, people are living in Abu Dhabi, for God's sakes. Like,
man, you drive down here. How much green
Dubai,
space is there down here, right? Like on the way. We're still technically Melbourne. So from the city to here, an hour or whatever, there's a lot of green space. There's lots of room for more houses, but we just need to figure out how to do it.
Yeah, of course. And of course, you've got farmers and they own lots of land and all that. But it just needs to be a conversation that needs to be had.
And the thing is that I think Australia is pretty good at doing, and when I say good, I mean bad, is that they don't forecast for the future. Like, it's stuff that's happening now, like things they're talking about now should have been in place 20 years ago, so we had that now. Yeah. The infrastructure is always chasing its tail,
Yeah. I watched a video, I don't know if it's actually real or not, but they were talking about the tunnels they're digging underneath.
Yeah.
And that they had to stop because the soil is like poisoned.
Yeah, contaminated.
Contaminated, right? But they spent trillions of dollars on it already.
Yeah.
And I was like, that seems pretty wild to me that we haven't that we didn't even know that was happening, but like I didn't know that was happening. I mean, we saw the freeways being built, but like now what do we do? What are we doing?
But this is the thing, man. So like the tunnels are going to happen, but that should have happened 10 years ago.
True.
We should be talking about what happens in 20 years.
20 years from now.
Yeah, that's the problem. There's no foresight and there's no vision. I think it's to do with this government gets in, they pull the pin, this one, and they just blame. It's a big fucking blame game.
Yeah. Doesn't work, man. That's where I'm like, it's just, I get you guys got it, but like now I'm thinking like adults we're done. We're cooked at the moment. We're just cooked. The kids, there's still hope.
Future.
So to me, that's what I'm saying 10 years from now.
Yep.
If we can get these kids to start venturing out, being more open-minded to ideas. And, I wouldn't have thought, I wouldn't have been so creative if it weren't for the openness of writing and, creating different avenues of workshops or even albums or, I feel like even my work itself, I get creative in. Mm-hmm. And without the idea of being able to be open and freely and like create myself, I don't think I would be as happy as I am today.
No, it plays a huge part in happiness, but also, man, this whole pushback of like this, everything being AI and all this, the way that the world's going, it is really going to push itself to creative people more because something that someone created themselves has so much more authenticity all of a sudden,
That's crazy. I didn't think of it like that. Like you think that someone's art painting is going to be worth more because there's so much AI art? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think it just becomes so like, all right, anyone can get ChatGPT now to write them a novel. So someone who actually writes a novel will have so much, like an actual human written thing.
Yeah.
Human made will have so much more weight behind it because people will be like, wow, that's authentic.
Yeah, I didn't see it like that.
I know, I'm trying to be glass half full.
Yeah, optimistic, because what I'm seeing now is like certain sentences and paragraphs people love more than someone genuinely writing something. And I guess it just depends on what context, because I mean, I've written a post and I'm like, this doesn't sound like it's hitting right. And then I'll put it into ChatGPT and it spits out something 10 times better than how I was trying to write it. And I'm like, that's pretty good, man.
But the thing is, yesterday somebody messaged me. They're like, you should apply for this thing. We're doing this workshop thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I wrote a really bad application with no ChatGPT because I wanted it to be authentic.
Make the mistakes.
Yeah,
Couple spelling mistakes.
I just threw it out there and I'm like, it's like 4 sentences of just me going, yeah, I reckon it'd be okay, blah, blah, blah. Because I wanted it to be
real.
Yeah.
Dude, these guys don't give a shit about it. Like, I'm not saying everyone. I'm saying like even, this jargon that they talk when it comes to doing applications or like grants, right? I had help with my album. Shout out to Anna. She helped me write it. But like I gave her the spill and then she came back and wrote it in a way that these guys read it. And I'm looking at it like it sounds almost the same, but the way she's worded it sounds super like posh and formal and refined. And I'm like, it's just not what I want. I'm not interested in doing all that.
Even with just descriptions for the videos for the podcast, I'm like, I could do that, but it's just going to come out how I don't want to be. I'm one of those guys that's pushing against AI as much as I can.
Yeah, well, I want to as well, but I also want to utilize it. Similar to like people, like I've got families who say no TVs, no screens, no nothing, and then they're saying like our life's miserable because these kids won't stop like drawing on the walls or something like that, almost like utilizing it.
Yeah, but there's a balancing point, like, and I liken it to when I was a kid. Those you get McDonald's or you get sort of junk food every now and then, right?
Yes.
Not every day, but those kids that never got it when they're 16 and they're riding the tram, they're the ones that want to go to Macca's every day.
Yeah,
because it's a forbidden fruit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, my it's very funny because we give free range to my son with the iPad, right? And a lot of parents have asked, like, how do you get him to turn it off? And I was like, we didn't like, what's the word? It's not weaponized. We didn't like put energy behind the iPad itself because like you take it away, they want it more.
Yeah.
Right. But instead, we just strip the shit out of it. Like he can't go on anything he wants. He can't go on, the internet. He can't do and it makes it just boring enough to do it in just small doses,
Yeah.
And then you have to, put limits on it sometimes, but it's not there. It's not taken away and hidden from him.
No.
Because now it's like you've kind of glamorized it as something that like I really need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all very interesting, man. It's all stuff that I'm navigating as well.
Yeah.
And trying to do it in a way that you don't, like you said, weaponizing is not the right word, I think. But I know what you mean. Like you put
charged. It's like
too much value.
That's it.
Yeah.
You're putting some sort of value on it, like as if you need it. And then they end up like wanting it more.
Yep.
And that's where we've given him free range. But of course, like we said, strip back. I play all the games of the app to make sure, and if they're good games and he's liking it, I'll buy the no ads thing, so that there's no ads.
So you can do right.
Yeah, so you can now be like once he gets into something, and there's like all these ads because the ads again push you to other games, and then he asks me, "Can I play this game? Can I play this game?" And I'm like, "No." Right. If I buy the no ads, then it's $5, and then then there's no ads, and then he could just play the game without getting distracted. Because it's just that's the thing. The internet just keeps pushing you to do. What about this thing? Go more stuff.
Yeah, and now they're about to do in the next couple of months the no social media for kids under 16 or whatever, which is going to be another like I don't know how that's going to work, man.
It's like I'm one of those guys who sometimes dives into conspiracy theories. So when I hear that, I think of, all right, we're going to have to send them our driver's license, all the adults.
You'll have to have a digital ID that matches that so you can get on your social media.
And
I think that's where we're headed.
That sounds to me, I'm
Control,
not
man.
with it. Yeah.
No.
I mean, it's like, I'm not going to let my child get on social media anyway. Like, it should be on us. And if some parents are like, oh, good, now they can be the bad guy. But like, you're depending on the government to do the things for you. The government doesn't care about us. Like, they want the government to stay in power. That's it. They're not coming to save us. They'll make some rules and they'll say what we have to, and we just have to adjust to it. And we have to live the best life and not get in trouble.
No.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, but so it's like if they're going to use YouTube, if they don't sign in, then they're just using it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't understand how.
I don't know how they're going to do it either, but that's why I'm like, they're going to make us do this stuff for our, and make it and put it out on us. They keep saying they're going to put it out on the company. Like, how are you going to force the company to make someone put their ID into a child? And how can your child put an ID or not put an ID?
But yeah, and so it's going to make, what it probably will make any kid that's 16 go and get a digital ID straight away, so then they can use the socials.
So yeah.
So this whole next generation will always have that digital ID. I think that's where we're headed, man.
See? Yeah. They are thinking 10 years ahead, just not where we want them to.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. But it's also like, in the US, there's no helmet. If you ride a bike, there's no helmet laws, is there? But here, we've had for 30 years, you don't wear a helmet, you get a fine. Like, I don't know. Okay, it's good to protect people's heads, but let them make that choice for themselves. Don't force us to, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's seatbelt laws. I feel like, we need some, I guess it would help to keep people safe, right? But we don't need to be told what to do all the time. And who knows, this is where, even the workshop itself, I'm doing this because I want to help the best I can. My son's old enough, getting older to be a bit more independent. And I see that I see something here where we could really help our community. Because I want to work on our backyard. Everyone's worried about, international stuff and what's happening overseas, but realistically, we're hurting too.
Yep.
And prices aren't going down. We need to be able to help get our kids on the right track to entrepreneurialism, for example. They don't teach that in school.
No.
All the kids that they tell me, they're like, oh, what do you mean you can work multiple jobs? I was like, well, it's really hard to tell them, school is is whack.
Yeah.
It's really hard not telling them that, because I didn't learn much from school, but I still think it's worth finishing just to get it out the way. And then you go on to your own thing, but always have something on the go.
Something to fall back on. Man.
Yeah.
Besides the workshop, what else have you got coming up on the horizon, man?
What am I doing? Workshops. I'm doing lots of one-on-ones now with with a lot of the kids, and we, doing writing and sometimes training. But other than that, I've got some music coming. I'm working with HALO whenever the seasons come. And that's pretty much it, man. I can't lie. It's
gigs coming up?
No, I haven't been gigging. I haven't been searching for them because I found that this purpose is a little bit more aligned with what I want to do. And on top of that, nowadays, as much as I love the culture and love I love performing, it's just a lot for just, I guess, in a short term, I'm losing money, gigging and trying to gig at all these places when most places aren't paying for you to perform, and I only see it in hip hop. Whenever I'm in other things, if I'm doing a little bit of hosting, it's pays great. Why is that? What's the difference? I spit a couple rhymes over here. HALO gigs pay way more than any hip hop gigs that I've been to. It's just so strange. Yeah.
It goes in waves though, man, I guess.
So I would love to perform more, but I've only performed when I feel when, say, friends ask me to come up, or if someone who's running a gig that I love and support, I'll show up for them. But realistically, when random people come and ask me to do a gig, it's just not where I'm at the moment.
Yeah, man, and it's all about maturity, and you've got other priorities, all that sort of stuff.
And but I miss it. I love performing. Like I feel so alive doing that too. It's like the end of a 3-day fast.
Yeah,
it feels like that.
What do you eat at the end of a 3-day fast? Because you don't want to binge, because it kind of undoes the good work, doesn't it?
True. Yeah, I've kind of been a little bit loose with it. A lot of people say, have a smoothie, eat some nuts and
Can you
fruit.
shock your stomach? Is that a thing?
I think you could. Like if you were to have a shot of alcohol on I'm sure your body's gonna not respond to it well. Mm-hmm. But I do like my friend Tay. She's done it a few times too, and she said like don't like have a smoothie, work that out for the next couple of days, and it should help continue your like health journey.
Yep.
Well, for me, I haven't been able to do that because I just look at it and I'm like, I really want to eat something nice. Like I'll still eat something like a soup, and I think the first time was like chicken and rice,
Yeah.
And then I went to like a Vietnamese spot. Dude, it is like the first meal is next level. Like after 3 days, you really just every bite you appreciate, and I like it.
Yeah,
it really feels good to be able to eat that.
That real build up and sort of release kind of thing.
Yeah. I did when I filmed myself eating the first time, and I put Outcast's prototype in. It's like I think I'm in love, and I was like, oh, that's literally what went in my mind when I took that first bite. It was so good.
Yeah, man. So you got that to look forward to in 3 days' time.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, I'm itching for it.
But today's day one.
Yes, I'm at day one now. I'm probably at 20 hours now.
Right.
So 5:30. We had dinner yesterday.
So it's the struggle is sort of kicking in now.
No, not at the moment. No, I think when we're busy, it's cool. Like when prior to us meeting, I was like sitting. I finished the work and I sat there and I'm like, ooh, I really could eat right now. Yeah. And so that's why I went to the ocean. I jumped in.
But yeah, and the more time, the better you get at it, and the better you are at pushing through, and you sort of become in control of your own sort of cravings.
Yeah, I feel it for my cousin. He tried doing it. He's in prison. And he goes, I lasted 11 hours. He's like, bro, it's very hard.
What else would you do?
Exactly. That's what I said, dude. I don't even blame you, bro. Like,
it's the only thing you got to look forward to.
Yeah, he was like, I lasted 11 hours. And I was like, dude, there's nothing. I'm sitting in the cell. I was like, I completely understand. If I had to sit in a room, I would have cracked ages ago.
Yeah. And because your body gets used to certain things at certain times, like you said. Like, I enjoy beer. Last August or dry July, I did a whole month of but I was starting to eat sugary stuff because my body was craving that stuff.
You replace it.
Yeah,
That's
and
what
it's
happens.
a boredom thing. You're like, instead of finishing work or finishing a chat, going with someone having a beer, you're like, maybe I'll have a Snickers or something.
Yeah, and you start once you do this, you start looking at it like, all right, I had a beer, like I'm good, but when it's just discipline, really. Like it's really teaching a good discipline. When I finished it, I remember it was like 8 or 10 p.m. and everyone was like, oh, we're going to go get a kebab. I was like, ooh, I could eat. And then I said to myself, I was like, hold on a minute. Like, you don't really need it. You could go home and go to sleep, wake up in the morning and then eat. And then you're not eating a kebab and then trying to digest it while you're asleep.
Man, eating a kebab even when you're not fasting, I always feel sick afterwards. Doing that, like with the garlic sauce and everything after you haven't eaten for a few days, no, that's not for me.
Yeah, but I mean, especially super late. Like I could down a kebab easy now. Like I'm not thinking about it now. I'm like, really want to say that? Oh man, but like what I wanted to ask you, like as a parent, you're 6 years now. Like, what is some takeaways that you've had?
Oh man, it's been really interesting for me because my dad wasn't around when I was a kid, so that's confronting but also positive at the same time.
Okay,
I was talking to my guest about this sort of yesterday. So you kind of, in a selfish way, kind of reliving your childhood a little bit, but I think in a healthy, selfish way, if that makes sense.
Of course, like I'm not gonna go to a playground without a child. Like, but then when you go to a playground, you're like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like, did you know they have DJ equipment at some of the parks now?
Man, yeah, the one that I used to live down near Bicentennial Park where they had a skate park there. Yeah, you could have your phone, put it there. And the thing is, you can't change the tempo.
No.
So it makes mixing tough, but it's fun.
I mean, the kids sit there doing handstands on the damn thing. Like, it's really like they've done good compared to like considering they're trying to do something creative and innovative.
Yeah.
But no, I'm seeing us all become dads now. Like all my like rapper friends, you know, I'm like drummer friends and all of that. I'm like, I'm watching them and I always ask them like, how you doing? And, you know, even for Father's Day was just like, I try to write like a little thing for them just to keep us going, because I know how hard it is for us to not try and, you know, pass the bad things on. We want to pass all the good things, but like sometimes we're not facing it and then we just pass it anyway.
I know, man.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, like, I think our generation, or at least for me, the people that I surround myself with, whether it's on this podcast or just my friends in real life, a lot of people that didn't have their dads there or didn't have great father figures are doing a really good job at trying to repair that and break the cycle.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's happening across the board, but the people I'm seeing.
Of course, yeah. I think we're all, I can, even the most abusive parent I know is trying. You know, I speak to a few that like, you know, they say I whoop my kids, like that's the best way, the best thing. And like, to me, I was at that stage too. I was debating that with my wife when we were dating. Like, yep, I'm gonna do it. That's happened. And then after more and more conversations, it became clear that like that's not the clear path. Like, at least it didn't work for me. It just taught me to be fearful. And I was like, man, I didn't see it like that. And now, another example, I'll quickly this one is, my son was wetting himself 3 years old, right?
3's young.
3 is young. But my head was like, oof, like it started just flaring up and I was getting furious and I had no idea. I was like, I knew, like, I was at least conscious enough to say, you're going to need to take this. I need to leave. And then my wife, because she's like, he's 3. And I was
and
like,
she's a child psychologist.
Yes, exactly. And I left. And then I sat with my therapist, spoke to him for about an hour, and it came out. Like, I figured out I got whooped for wetting the bed.
I was triggering those.
And it was triggering those things. In my head, I was trying to protect him. My brain was saying, it's safe to do. You have to do this. We have to do this now. And when I realized it, I wet the bed till I was like 8. And I was like, that wasn't the way. I was like, now I have to face this obstacle or this hurdle completely blind. So I said, all right, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to allow it. It's all right, bud. We'll change the sheets over and try and come at it with a positive spin, right? He learned to potty train before he was 4.
That's pretty good.
And that's, yeah. And I don't know, but see, because I don't know what the good and bad, like when you're supposed to stop. It's like, no. I was at 8 years old, damn near pissing myself still.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was like facing these kinds of really hard decisions in my life. Like, okay, is this my trauma coming out? Or do I truly believe that this is going to help him? And having to face those things made it really hard to do it on the spot. Because, you know, sometimes it comes up and you're just like, you have to react. Yeah. You know? But then my wife and I started talking. The difference between react and respond are 2 completely different things.
Right.
You know? Yeah. To respond is being aware, being grounded, knowing that this is what's happening now. And to react, that's what I didn't learn. I haven't learned that. Well, I'm sorry, I hadn't learned it then.
Yep.
And that's where I'm like, the conversations are massively important to with your partner. And if you're not with your partner understanding that it's a team effort, and if you're co-parenting, same thing, like trying to be on the same level, that's even harder. You've already made it 10 times harder.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It's got to be really tough for kids to have certain set of rules with this parent, because there is so many different blended families, fractured families. It's tough, man.
And so then you look at these teenagers and you're like, why are they such shitheads in their definition? And you're like, you don't know where they come from. You don't know what they've been through, you know? Even the person who, like you said, these kids and these families have millions of dollars, still become drug addicts. Why is that? Because they're missing a lot of the human needs that we require, you know, love, connection, you know, all of those things. And if you're busy working 50 hours a week and not being at home connecting with your kids, what do you expect?
Man, the biggest example of that is people that send their kids to boarding school. Like, and I get that some people, oh yeah, we live in the country and we're on a farm and we don't have that. But some people I know that families lived in the city and they go send them to boarding school. I'm like, that's fucked up, man.
Yeah. And that's
just people with money. Just
and that's, yeah.
palming off their kids.
Palming off the kids. They think that the thing about schooling as well, my son goes to a Montessori school, so it's an alternative school. Mm-hmm. The thing about these schools is that parents expect the teachers to raise your kids. Yeah. And that's not what they're there for. No. And the same thing, even when we get homework, that's not what we're here for. Like, there's no homework. You go to school to learn school. You come home to be at home. You know, there's a guy who was, I forgot his name, but he was talking about how, you know, they got homework and then the teachers were getting mad at the parents for telling their kids they don't have to do homework. And the guy said, well, if you don't, he's like, at home is where we teach home values and morals and everything. At school is where he does schoolwork. So if you don't want me to send my dishes over to your school, stop bringing them homework. And I was like, man, that's a bar.
I like that.
Yeah, it's like that's where it is. We're at home. We have to connect. We have to worry about, have we spoke to each other? Have we asked how your day was, and was there anything funny that happened? Like those kind of deep conversations and connections are what happens. Well, maybe we just go play and shoot the ball for a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know if your son was like this, but my son, I've experienced it this year as his first year at school, because he was just at sessional kinder last year, which is only a couple of hours a week, really. Mm-hmm. So now it's like full on 6.5 hours for 5 days a week. You pick him up after school, you're like, hey man, how's your day? And he's like, like cranky. And at first I was like, I'm thinking it's me.
Right.
But then I went to the parent-teacher night to speak to the teacher, and she's like, look, your kid's a good kid and doesn't want to get in trouble. Mm-hmm. That might change. I was a good kid, I'm sure, at prep. Everything changes. But she's like, he spends all day trying really hard and doing everything and being polite and blah, 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 and not getting in trouble. So when he gets home or in the car with you and he's in his safe space,
you cop it.
Yeah, exactly. Because he cares about you the most and feels the most confident. And so then, yeah, man. And when she explained that, I got it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, what's wrong with this kid? Like, why does he hate me every day now after school?
Yeah, and things that we forget is that they were with you for 24 hours a day. And now we're shifting it and they don't know what to expect. Like we would have, like I do praise my wife because like she knows a lot about this that I wouldn't have a clue. She would say, all right, school's happening. Like we're about to start something completely different in 3 weeks' time. Put it on the calendar, make it concrete, show them that this day is where you're going to go and you're going to be there for X amount of hours.
Prepare them. Yeah.
Prepare them, right? And then when they go into school, then you got to worry about what's happening at school. Like there's a whole nother thing. So you are their safe space and they will unleash on you just because you are the punching bag and they know you're going to love them after it. One of my students, I did an interview with him similar to like this, where I was like, I was asking him questions about his dad. He wanted to make a rap, but we didn't have enough time. I said, I'm going to interview you, and then we're going to put music in the background, give a bunch of photos and videos. And I asked him specific questions, but one of the beautiful things that came out of it was like, he goes, I really appreciate my dad for still loving me after I yell at him and scream at him. And I'm like, this, and like it hits any father who puts it on themselves. And again, that's a trauma response. Like it's my fault. Like what did I do? And it's not. It's like you have to really not take it personally. And even for me, I took a lot of shit personally from what my son would do. So now, like whenever he lashes out at me, I want him to be able to do that, because at school, same thing. He's wonderful. He loves, like, he helps everyone. He does this. Oh, this kid was giving him a hard time, but he shook it off. And he didn't shake it off. He's bagging that shit up so I can be his punching bag later down this thing. But I appreciate, and he knows, he's working his way through life. And we're all doing that. And we don't give the kids grace when it comes to that.
No. But we're all learning, man. And one thing we start to figure out when you become a parent, you realize that maybe the shortfallings of your own parents were because they didn't really know what they were doing either. Yeah. And they grew up in a time not grew up, but they were parenting in a time, most of the time, pre-internet, where there wasn't that much help. So they would just fumble their way through. Yeah.
Right. Yep. I do, like, I was, if you listen to my last album, it was a lot about, my father, being absent. And he wasn't absent all my life, but he had issues himself. He was a chronic cheater, and he would, he's traveling around, and then like I had to raise my brothers from a certain time, and they held such a hatred, resentment towards him, and maybe because I had spent more time with him, maybe I just had a bigger connection than they did, but I just know he never had a dad, and the way he was raised was definitely really hard. So I know that he was trying, and I needed to acknowledge, you may not have done it the right way, but I appreciate you trying wherever you've made it to, right? And like even now, you still are a father. You've never been a father to a 35-year-old. You've never been like whenever someone, like I remember a friend said, my dad said, it's my first time being a father at this age. Like I don't know what a 26-year-old does or a 27-year-old. He's like, you're constantly learning. So when I see him, and although he may have his quirks and his personalities and all that, I can at least acknowledge that he tried his best, and I can forgive. And now, like even now, I can actually have a conversation with him without feeling like pain and all that.
How's he going as a grandfather?
He's good. He lives in Perth, so we haven't been able to connect too hard, but when we go, like he tries his best. And same thing, like now that I can see, us taking things personally, like easily. Like there was an incident with my son and my dad where my dad took it so personally. He was like, all right, well, I just won't play with him at all. Like, and I was like, that's not what it's about. It's the fact that he's trying to communicate something to you and you didn't listen. And so now he's mad. It's like, that's what we listen to, what he says, and if it's something that's out of being safe, like we listen to him all the time. And that's something he may not have heard, like listen, like I'm sure his mom didn't listen to him when he was saying stuff. So then it developed into the human he is today. And that's same with me. Like even now when he's telling me stuff and I had to respond to him as a 15-year-old. I was like, I'm going to respond to you as my 15-year-old myself because my 35-year-old self is cool. Yeah. But if I'm going to let my 15-year-old self out, I'm pissed. I'm infuriated. Like, you didn't give me this. You didn't give me the choice. You didn't allow me to do this and that. And to be able to break that down and have him hear that is healing for me.
For sure.
And also reflective for him.
And also, we should all take on board it's never too late. And if there is some dads out there, grandfather, like if you're dads out there that weren't great dads, but now you're a grandfather, I'm sure those kids are going to be wrapped for you to try and make up for it. Without a shadow of a doubt. So it's never too late, man.
No, it's never too late. And like even now, I try and get my brothers to, give my dad the time of day to try and see if he's changed and, apologize for the things he's done. And, one of them is, and the other is like still written off, and it's a lot of hate. And it's sad, but I also, the same thing as like what my therapist said is like, I can't fix everyone.
No.
I can't get in the way. So ideally, like therapy's been helping me and, self-reflecting. And as I'm seeing other adults depressed at their age, I'm like, why am I so happy? It's like I feel I love my life, and I know it's like it's weird to say that out loud like that, but
you've learned what your issues are, and you're working through them, and that's why you're happy.
And it's hard. It's like there are days when you just don't want to work on yourself, but if I can instill these things onto these teenagers early, I feel like we'll see a brighter future in 20 years time.
For sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping will be. And as long as I stay, constantly working on myself, constantly happy, and then making sure my son is getting the most connection and love. I said this earlier that I was working towards showing more affection to him, and I was one that just wouldn't like hug and kiss him as much. And because I saw my wife doing it all the time, I assumed that he was getting plenty. And because I'd never been shown that kind of affection.
Yep.
When I told my dad that, he got really offended, and he was saying, like I thought about it and you were right. I didn't do that, and it was because, I thought that was what you were supposed to do as a dad to a son. You had to be hard. You can't cry, and you have to, have this thing. And he goes, I see now that it's wrong. And that was enough for me to heal that. And I've been hugging and kissing my son ever since, extra hard, right?
Yeah, that's it, man. Yeah. It is hard, but you know what? Like, we're in a different time now where we can be like, yep, things have changed. We don't have to let the past define who we are. Mm-hmm. And let's all grow together, Don't hate on people that made mistakes in the past. If they weren't affectionate, if they were absent parents, whatever, cut them a break. Mm-hmm. And say to them, it's time to fucking pull your socks up and try and be a good parent now,
Yeah. But I also believe in the the boundaries as well, like allowing you to say everything's all good, but our boundaries lies here. Like for example, if my dad were to say, I'm not going to listen to what he says, then that will be like, all right, well then you guys can't hang out, because the idea is for him to be heard and you to listen. And he didn't say that. And he's definitely learning that, he has a voice and he voices what he wants in his opinion, and you have to help respect that. Mm-hmm. And those people who don't do that, we don't allow them around him.
That's it, man.
And there are parents that we don't allow them to go with because we don't believe that they respect the children enough.
Wow.
So these are very conscious thoughts, and my wife and I talk about it all the time, and we say, oh yeah, they were playing really well, but I didn't really like how that parent was talking to their kid. Uh-huh. And it's and I don't want to expose that to Zev and think, and although he has been exposed to that stuff, we talk a lot about, some parents raise their kids differently. They do different things in different households. You must follow their rules unless it puts you in some sort of danger. Mm-hmm. That's where we have to look and say, our role is putting him in danger as well. Are we going to allow him to go with anyone just because we need someone to watch him while we go and do this? No, we have to say, sorry, we can't make it, or he's coming with us.
For sure. Man, we've tackled some big issues.
Yeah, man.
But the moment of truth is this Saturday.
Yes.
Maybe it's sold out. Maybe it's not. Yeah. But they should follow you or for potentially future events?
Yeah, follow me on Instagram, or you can sign on to the mailing list, because I do send it out to the mailing list before I announce it online, just to keep the people who are really keen. Otherwise, give me an email or a message, Strictly DT, peace@strictlydt.com, and we can chat from there, because there have been people who have messaged me privately saying, I really want to come, I can't make it this date, or I want to come, but it's too expensive. We'll work out a way. Mm-hmm. We'll work out a way.
For sure, man. Investing in the future, I like it.
For sure, man. And our community, realistically, I really want us to grow and improve. And all these guys all talking about teenagers are cooked. I'm like, well, we got to do something. I want to do something.
Yeah. And that's it. A lot of people say, oh yeah, what's going on here? What's going on there? But you're actually you're doing something. You're not just talking about it.
Trying. Yeah, we're going to try, and we're going to see if we can make it bigger and make it more accessible for everyone. Like I said, if we had grants, then the tickets would be way cheaper, but I really want to pay everyone fairly for, I come from the era of getting paid $100 for a 5 hour, being somewhere for 5 hours. Mm-hmm. It's not like the parking costs $100 if you park at the wrong spot for 5 hours, right? Yeah. So everyone's going to be eaten and compensated for their work. They also love the work, so they would say they would do it for free. But ideally, I want to make this as non-toxic as possible and just comfortable and accessible. And as we get bigger and grow more, I can see it being a big thing.
For sure. DT, man, thanks for coming in. It's been a great chat.
Thank you for giving me the space, brother.
Always, man.
Yeah.
Cheers.
We'll see you next time.
3,000.